Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Darren Green, and here we are at the Simpler Health Matters studio at the Mind Matters Summit for 2025, and I am accompanied by none other than an iconic South African legend in Tatjana Smith. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, and it's so lovely that the people out there can get to know you on this wonderful personal level in our lounge.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
let's kick off. Obviously, you've been responsible for so many people in South Africa getting goosebumps and crying. I don't know if you're aware of that, but so many of us have watched your journey.
Yeah.
But that's just the journey that we see on the screens, and now we have the opportunity to be with you and speak to you a little bit about just what it cost you to get there.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit just about the experience of being at that level of competition, and what that actually has revealed to you about yourself.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. And I think it's always hard to put everything into word or structure it because we all know it's such a long journey. I was swimming for 22 years.
Yes.
So swimming has been such a big part. But I think that's the most important it is that journey. It is the 22 years that the challenges that I faced and stuff, but it's the growth that I experienced
Over that period.
Yeah, exactly. And I think leading up to Tokyo, going to your first Olympics, it's like a dream come true. And of course, it's hard to get there. But I feel with Paris, it was a completely different experience. Because with Tokyo, I obviously set a certain standard for myself.
That was your first one.
Yes, exactly.
You don't know what to expect really, but...
And then I come back with the gold, so it really set the bar high because now the expectation is nothing less than a gold.
But how did you, if you think back a little bit, in terms of preparing your mind, because you've got to kind of motivate yourself to be the best you can be and aim for that gold, but also have a balanced approach to know that your best is good enough.
No,
and
exactly.
So on. And then those two marry. How did you get your mind ready?
No, exactly. And that was a challenge for me, to the build-up of Paris is I think every athlete puts in the sacrifice, every athlete does the work, every athlete can try and eat right, but at the end, it's the mental side that plays such a massive role.
Wow.
I think sometimes we think it's a 80-20%, but it's really almost like a 20-80% because just by your mind, you can either ruin the race or completely stuff up the whole thing for what you've been working for 4 years.
Wow.
So, and for me, that pressure of of course, I was very fortunate to get a awesome nickname, Golden Girl, but that also added a lot of pressure because that means silver wasn't enough.
Sure.
Finals wasn't enough. So for me, I felt like I would disappoint my whole country.
You're carrying everyone's expectations, those shoulders,
Thank goodness for the swimmer shoulders. But that was literally, so it was really trying to figure out that. And again, like you say, go back to where I can only give my best. So whether my best is coming last or not making the final and just being and participating, that is what it is. And I had to be content with that.
Exactly,
and I had to be happy with the results. So I just always knew that the results will happen as it should. And I believe God was in that process. But
Amazing.
The only thing I could do was go out there and give my absolute best. And I hope that South Africa could see that. And I'm very grateful that my best ended up being the best on the day.
One of the things that shone through for us watching, and me included, was seeing your inner contentment while you were there. I think, obviously, winning a gold and getting the accolade is great, but I think there's a different kind of happiness that shines from really deep inside.
Yeah, I think that was for me the special moment of Paris is before I even dived in.
Yes.
That moment on the block, just for me to get to that place, I was in awe of how proud I was for myself for getting to that place, everything that I had to face mentally, the anxiety, the pressure, and just being able to channel it to saying you know what, I do this because I love the sport and I just absolutely want to have fun. And I think you could see that was my 200 race. That was my last race of my career. I didn't win. I came second, but I was the happiest second place winner because I absolutely enjoyed every moment. I could celebrate the moments of my last race with my family. I could celebrate the things I was able to achieve through my sport, the things I've learned through my sport. It's more that it's the character, because the end of the day, the medals are in the cupboard. Everyone forgets about it. There's a new champion, but it's the person I've become and who I can
Your DNA is part of you.
Exactly, and how you can touch people's lives by who you are. That's what people remember.
Yes.
They don't remember necessarily the gold medal, but the conversation you have, the impact you have, or the tool you could maybe potentially give to someone to
or you
help
made them feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and the mental habits. I mean, can you remember some of the practical mental habits you got into in preparation leading up to some of these big moments in your life?
Yeah, I think it's surrounding yourself with the right people, because sometimes you're not going to believe in yourself, so you need people that will believe in you for you.
Yes.
And I really relied on my faith. So I always was grounded in that, knowing that God gave me this talent, and I just wanted to go out there and by giving my best, that is just showcasing like God's like work in my life.
Amazing.
So it was quite nice, because always when I felt anxious, I would listen to worship music and just ground yourself back to the reason, like, why did I start this? Why am I swimming? Is to showcase the talent, but then also
reminding yourself.
I think it's reminding yourself why. I think there has to be a bigger why. Purpose, for why you, because if it's just about the medals or just about the record, there's so many opportunities you're going to be disappointed in, because you're not always going to win, and not everyone gets to reach that highest level. I can't tell you why I was a person. I honestly don't. God has His plans and ways.
And how do you stay motivated after that to keep going?
That was
that's
the challenge.
The other thing,
exactly. But that's why, like, the whole journey to Paris was just because when I got back from Tokyo, everyone knows the post-Olympic blues, and it is real. Like, you can convince yourself as an athlete that it doesn't. Some can say, like, the top athletes never experience it, because, I mean, you won gold. Like, why would you go through that? You literally achieve the highest. The problem is, like, where do I go next? Like, I've achieved the highest goal I've ever set in my mind.
Where to from?
To set another goal felt like that goal was so little. But it's like in your mind, it's like, are you crazy? That's like insane.
Man.
So it was really just like figuring out where to next. Do I want to, like, in my life, I never was like, you know what, I want to be 5-time Olympic champion. I was like, just going to the Olympics, like, is a dream come true.
Wow.
And I achieved way more than that. So to have to stay in the sport, so there had to be that bigger reason. And I had that piece that, you know, I have to push on, like, it's going to be tough, but there's a reason for me to go to Paris. And if that was to show people that even coming second, like, it doesn't define me, I'm happy. Swimming
wonderful term, that what defines you.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, there are certainly times, and I mean, it's great to speak about the joyous times, but there must have been times when you felt lonely, when you felt empty. You know, the petrol tank
so empty,
gets empty. I mean, and what were some of the things you did when you were in that place of feeling, you know, where you have some self-doubt that you're going to make it and get there?
Yeah. I mean, I'm even in that phase now. Like, I would love to say I'm on the other side of a retired athlete, but there's also that transition. It's that transition. I came into that transition coming back from the Olympics, so that was even a higher knock.
Even harder,
but it is really just holding on to those people in your life, finding small pockets of joy in your day. Because,
got you. That's great.
Yeah, and I think it's like being aware and wanting to be better. Like, I think to sit there and like feel sorry for yourself is not the way. Like, find tools. Like, whether it is, for me, it was my faith, it's my community. It's like, I knew places where I can recharge. So I prioritize those times. I prioritize those things in my daily life, even if it's chaos, even if I'm doing this conference and talking there, like, which is not necessarily part of who I am and could potentially, like, as my personality, drain me a lot more.
Got you. But you do it as a challenge.
Yeah, you do it, but you prioritize the other things that make you a better person, because at what cost?
Got you.
At what cost am I going to continuously do everything and deplete myself? I can't give to someone if I don't have within
100%.
myself. So
just fill yourself first.
Exactly.
How do you, if in terms of your practical day-to-day life, how do you make moments to check in with yourself to get an idea as to what's going on in your internal environment? What do you do practically?
Yeah, I think you realize, like, maybe sometimes when you're reacting to a certain situation, you pick up that, like, this is maybe not, I'm overreacting maybe at this point.
Not my norm,
Yeah, and then I think you start figuring out, why am I acting this way? Like, am I trying to push off, like, the sadness? Am I not trying to really process or work through the journey that I am, because it's so easy to, you know, to say like, I don't want to deal with that right now. But like dealing with it in like a positive way of saying like, okay, you know, like I know this is a thing, like maybe let's talk to someone, because I can't do it by myself. And I've seen it so much. I think even like as an athlete, you want to be this strong. Don't want to like show anyone like the weakness, because you're seen as this like resilient person that doesn't face like
and what about vulnerability? I mean, there are lots of youngsters that absolutely, they idolize you, and they are training. They're in that pool.
And you're scared to show that like
vulnerability.
The vulnerability. But that's why I just always felt like that's the reason why I've been given this platform, is to share. Like, you need to be vulnerable. You need to communicate with people, because people won't understand what's going on inside. And sometimes it's challenging. I feel actually sometimes more drained trying to explain to someone how I feel.
You know what you're feeling, but you can't get the words
and you can see the person doesn't really understand, but it's just communicating that there is something wrong and you need help, whether it is, if that person's capacity to help you is just by messaging you every day, I hope you have a nice day, then communicate that to people, because they won't know either like what you need. So I think it's being open and like figuring out what is it that you need, and I'm sure the people in your circle will be willing to give you that, because they want to see you better. They want to have you as happy. Like, it makes us happy when other people are happy, or we can help them to be happy.
Finding that purpose of
exactly.
You've inspired me so much about the importance of like-minded people, choosing your tribe around you, your family along these journeys, and friends and decent connections. And you know, I just want to say thanks for being available to speak about, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly of becoming the best version of yourself. We appreciate you and your time.
Thank you.
And wish you a fantastic Mind Matters Summit. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.